Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur. Today we'll be talking about a brief history of the Racing Bulls team, also known as AlphaTauri, also known as Toro Rosso, also known as Minardi. So let's get going, shall we? Okay, so let's start off with a little bit of background on the whole team from its history. So originally it was founded by Giancarlo Minardi in 1979, and the team joined Formula One in 1985 as Minardi, and in 2001 the team was sold to Paul Stoddart, who then eventually sold the team to Red Bull after 5 seasons in 2005, and the team got onto the grid in 2006 as Toro Rosso, and then eventually became AlphaTauri, and then it became VCARB, Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. So originally it was Minardi, then it was Scuderia Toro Rosso, and then it was AlphaTauri briefly, which is the Red Bull clothing label, and then it was VCARB. The team has always been based out of Faenza in Italy, and when Red Bull did buy it, originally it was a 50-50 ownership between Dietrich Mateschitz, who was then the owner of Red Bull until his unfortunate passing, and the other 50% was owned by former Formula One driver Gerhard Berger. But Red Bull bought out Berger in 2008, and ever since then it has been solely the property of the Red Bull team. So let's get on to the team principles. So during the days of Minardi being a team, from 1985 to 1995, it was solely team principal role being Giancarlo Minardi, and then from 1996 to 1997, it was a cooperation between Giancarlo Minardi and Flavio Briatore of Alpine fame, and then from 1997 to 2000 it was Giancarlo Minardi and Gabriele Rumi, and then from 2001 to 2005 it was Paul Stoddart. And then when it was Toro Rosso, the team principal was Franz Tost, who was there from 2006, which is when they became the second Red Bull team, to 2023, and then in 2024 to 2025 it was Laurent Mekies, who then went on to become the team principal of Red Bull Racing following the departure of Christian Horner. And then ever since this has happened, Alan Permane has been the team principal for the Racing Bulls team. So now let's get on to the wacky history of all the drivers from 1985 to 2025. Right, so let's get on to the drivers. So in 1985 they only had one driver, which was Pierluigi Martini. In 86 they had Andrea De Cesaris and Alessandro Nannini. In 87 they had Adrian Campos and Alessandro Nannini. In 88 they had Adrian Campos, Pierluigi Martini and Luis Perez Sala. In 89 they had Pierluigi Martini, Paolo Barilla and Luis Perez Sala. In 1990 they had Pierluigi Martini, Paolo Barilla and Gianni Morbidelli. In 91 they had Pierluigi Martini, Gianni Morbidelli and Roberto Moreno. In 92 they had Christian Fittipaldi, Gianni Morbidelli and Alessandro Zanardi. In 93 they had Christian Fittipaldi, Jean-Marc Gougnon, Pierluigi Martini and Fabrizio Barbazza. In 94 they had Pierluigi Martini and Michele Alboreto. In 95 they had Pierluigi Martini, Pedro Lamy and Luca Badua. In 96 they had Pedro Lamy, Giancarlo Fisichella and Tarso Marquez, as well as Giovanni Lavaggi. In 97 they had Ukio Katayama, Jarno Trulli, and Tarso Marquez. In 98, they had Shinji Nakano and Esteban Tuero. In 99, they had Luca Badua, Stefan Sarrazin, and Marc Jean. In 2000, they had Marc Jean, Gaston Mazzacone. In 2001, Tarso Marquez, Alex Young, and Fernando Alonso. In 2002, they had Alex Young, Anthony Davidson, and Mark Webber. In 2003, they had Justin Wilson, Nicholas Kieser, and Jos Verstappen. In 2004, they had Gianmaria Bruni and Zolt Baumgartner. And in 2005, they had Patrick Friesacker, Robert Dombos, and Christian Olbers. And then the team was sold to Red Bull. So they had, in 2006, Vitantonio Luzzi and Scott Speed. In 2007, they have Vitantonio Luzzi, Scott Speed, and Sebastian Vettel. In 2008, Sebastian Bardet and Sebastian Vettel. In 2009, Sebastian Bardet and Jaime Alguersuari and Sebastian Buemi. In 2010, they had Sebastian Buemi and Jaime Alguersuari. In 2011, Sebastian Buemi and Jaime Alguersuari again. In 2012, Daniel Ricciardo and Jean-Eric Verne. In 2013, once again, Daniel Ricciardo and Jean-Eric Verne. In 2014, Jean-Eric Verne and Daniel Kvyat. In 2015, Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz Jr. In 2016, Daniel Kvyat, Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz Jr. In 2017, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, Brandon Hartley, and Carlos Sainz Jr. In 2018, Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley. In 2019, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, and Daniel Kvyat. And then when they became Scuderia AlphaTauri, as well as Scuderia AlphaTauri. In 2020, it was Pierre Gasly and Daniel Kvyat. In 2021, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. In 2022, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda again. In 2023, Yuki Tsunoda, Nick de Vries, Daniel Ricciardo, Liam Lawson. And then as V-Carb Racing Bulls, they were Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo, and Liam Lawson in 2024. And in 2025, it was Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, and Isaac Hadjar. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur. And I would like to apologise, as I always do. I probably end up butchering all of the names that I've said, so apologies for that. There's no race this weekend, so please join me on Saturday for another brief history of, where we'll be discussing the next team. And hopefully you'll have a lovely rest of your week. And don't forget to check out Be The Change Media Network, check out all my lovely colleagues on there, check out BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com, and I'll see you on Saturday. Goodbye.